Hello BookTube. Today for Tag Thursday, I will be doing another Durn June on the Range tag. This time, this tag was created by Randy Ray, the literate Texan, and I saw it on Steve Donahue and Michael K. Vaughn's channels, so I'll have links to all three channels in the show notes down below, as well as a copy of the prompts. So this tag, much like the earlier Western-themed tag this month that Steve Donahue created, are a celebration of June on the Range, a sophomore booktube reading event created by Michael K. Vaughn, in which participants read Westerns in the month of June. My own participation in June on the Range has been anemic, to say the least. I think I selected two books, a weird Western, which is a mashup genre of the Western, which is American historical fiction set in the Old West, or the American West, and some form of speculative fiction, science fiction, or fantasy. In this case, it was fantasy, because usually I think science fiction and Westerns get lumped into steampunk. And also, I'm currently slogging my way through a very disappointing history of the Old West that I may or may not rant about this weekly reads. It depends how long I go on and on about My Hero Academia and Magi the Labyrinth of Magic. But anyway, let's get going with the prompts. So these prompts are inspired by Westerns, movies. I will comment whether or not I've seen the movie and what I thought of it, and then do the tag, or do the prompt. And yeah, and hopefully I don't flub it, because this is take 10, I think, for this particular prompt. Anyway, let's get going. Prompt number 1, Dead Man, from 1995. How do you feel about the poetry of William Blake? Love it, hate it, or never read it? It's been a long time since I've read William Blake. I had a collection of his Songs of Innocence and Experience, and I think a few other works in an omnibus edition. Very short. I don't remember if it was Penguin or like Oxford, but it's been a long time since I've read it, and it's been a long time since I've actually had it in my collection. I have no William Blake right now. I would say I like him, but not enough to want to keep him around. Number 2, Blazing Saddles from 1979. I have never seen it, and despite rumors of it being canceled, I suspect I'm probably the only person who has never seen it. What's your relationship like with trains and railroads? Have you ever taken a trip by train, and if so, what was it like? So, if we're talking about rail between cities, I've never ridden on one. Now, if we're talking about like a metro train system, I've ridden on several. My first time was in 2006 when I went to Portland, Oregon for a weekend, and I rode the metro. I don't recall what it's called properly, but from Portland's airport to downtown Portland and then back again when I left that Saturday morning. I also rode quite heavily on the San Francisco version of it when I lived there for a few months, again in 2006. But those are my only experience with trains. I would love to actually ride one, like for a significant journey, but I've never gotten around to it, and I doubt I ever will. Prompt number 3, Hell or High Water, 2016. Never seen it. Have you ever been to West Texas? If so, what did you think of the experience? So, I think the furthest west I've ever been in Texas would be about around Goldthwait. And don't quote me on that for sure, because it would have been decades ago. So when me and my brother were not quite teens, my mom would periodically take us on a long drive west on Highway 84. And I think we might have made it to maybe around Goldthwait. I don't know for sure. It's been so long, I don't remember it. But I've never really been much further west than Gatesville or Goldthwait, which isn't really all that far west. Prompt number 4, The Searchers from 1956. I don't think I've ever seen this one. Have you ever pursued a goal or an obsession for 5+ years? If so, what was it, and what was the experience like? Did you succeed? I have never had a goal or obsession for 5+ years. I do not have that long of an attention span. I would have long abandoned it if it took that long to accomplish. Prompt number 5, Bone Tomahawk, from 2015. I've never seen it. What are your favorite Lost World, Lost Race books, if any? I know Michael K. Vaughan mentioned She by H. Rider Haggard, and except for the first part of the book, I would agree with him. I really like what I've read of Haggard's work. She, King Solomon's Mines, Alan Quatermain. Any other ones that I've read? I think that might be it. Prompt number 6, Mad Max from 1979. I have seen this one. Although, again, I would agree with Steve Donahue, I don't think this is a Western. It would be, I mean, for one thing, it's more, I think, post-apocalyptic, or apocalyptic. It's dystopic in a way. And it's set in Australia. And while I think certain aspects of Australian film set in the outback echo the Western, it really should be its own genre. So, an outback? That doesn't work. Hopefully somebody's come up with an ear-catching genre term for literature, film, television set in the Australian outback. But anyway, getting on with the prompt. What's your relationship like with cars and driving? If you drive, are you an aggressive driver or a defensive driver, or somewhere in between? I do not drive. I do not have a driver's license, and I likely never will. I practiced driving once, and it was a horrifying experience. I do not have the attention span to really focus on driving. I am too interested in looking outside to see what's going on in front of me. Prompt number 7, Unforgiven, 1992. I might have seen clips of this movie when I shouldn't have. Which means I probably watched it when I was like really young and don't remember much of it, but know I've seen it or seen parts of it. What's your relationship with money like, especially as it compares to your relationships with people? I would say I'm not, well, arguably I'm the best with money when it comes to my immediate family. My mother, she's okay with it, but given her health condition, she really has a hard time managing it. My brother can't control his spending, particularly not with. Anyway, let's not go there. I don't think my brother watches my videos, but just in case. But I'm the most cautious with money, although I have lately been splurging far more than I should on books. But I think as regards to my relationship with people, money is toxic. It's absolutely toxic. Because I don't particularly like to loan out money, and I'm often called on to do so. Prompt number 8, Django from 1966. I've never seen. Have you ever been involved in a feud of any kind? If so, what was it like? No, I've never been involved in a feud. Prompt number 9, The Golden Stallion from 1949. Have you ever had a friendship with an animal that was more important to you than most of your relationships with human beings? If so, what was it like? No, I've never had such a relationship with animals of any kind. Prompt number 10, Battle Beyond the Stars, 1980. I've never seen this one. What was the first science fiction movie you ever saw at the movie theater? I'm gonna go with independent. No, wait. Okay. Would Batman count as science fiction? I'm specifically talking about Batman Returns because I've seen that in the theater. And I mean, does superhero film also count as science fiction? If it does, then that would be the first. If not, then it would be Independence Day. Or did I see Stargate in the theater? Okay, I know for sure I've seen Independence Day. So I'll go with that. Okay. So that wraps up the another Durn June on the Range tag. If you would like to do this tag, consider yourselves tagged. I will see you maybe in a few minutes with another tag, not another tag, another video. I'm going to see if it works, and if you don't see a second video today, it didn't work out. And I'll see you tomorrow with a bevy of videos because I got a lot of videos to make tomorrow. There's my June book haul, my manga tour, my July TBR, and weekly reads. So, any booktube until I see you later. Thank you. Have a great afternoon and stay safe.